Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to Midgame Life Crisis. I am Inconsistency.
I'm Werewolf.
And today we want to talk to you guys about toxic positivity. Toxic positivity and, in my opinion, its effect on the Veilguard development. And yeah, take it away, bro.
So, this is just something that's been around in the media. It affects the fan base. It even shows up in the development culture of the games themselves. And the outcome of these things is that all parties included eventually get disappointed because we get a bad product that just doesn't sell well. It isn't considered successful and no one just plays it, you know?
Yeah.
Toxic positivity is a psychological clinical term, I guess.
Yeah.
That describes a dysfunctional management of emotions when it's a when it's a serious thing, but basically it means that you refuse to look at negative sides of life and you always keep it positive to an extreme.
It's like those married couples we all know that try to always make things seem like everything is great no matter what. Like, yeah, we're great. It's all great. They always like got a huge smile on their faces, like you can see in their eyes that they're like asking for help.
Right now, it's all about our marriage. When two people love each other and can't make that work, that's the real tragedy. Kiss my cheek.
It's a cry for help. Yeah, I love my life. It's so great. Help me, God. I love it, bro. This is what I'm seeing with how the Vielguard development is going, how the media outlets are talking about it right now. We got a few headlines to show you guys.
These things are just, to me personally, are triggering. Like, playing 6 hours of Dragon Age the Veilguard gave me the faith its trailers couldn't. This is the Bioware comeback fans want.
This is from PC Gamer, bro. Like a huge media outlet, an extremely old and known, very worldwide known PC gamer. So
yeah, it gets better with Eurogamer. After playing it all day, Dragon Age the Veilguard feels like the series' Mass Effect 2 moment.
Oh my god, bro. This one triggers me, okay? This one triggers me personally, okay?
Yeah. It compares the game we haven't seen yet to the pinnacle of BioWare's history.
Seriously, Mass Effect 2 is okay. Listen, okay, we can argue about it if Dragon Age Origins or Mass Effect 2 are the best games they ever made, but they're pretty much up there. They're in the top 5 of most people that I know of, at least. Okay, those two games. And Mass Effect 2 is my personal best BioWare game. I love that game more than any other. So this one really triggers me. I'm not gonna dissect it right now. We wanna keep going. We got another one from Game Rant saying, after 6 hours, Dragon Age the Vielguard is a definite Game of the Year contender.
Don't bullshit me.
Oh, sure.
Wow.
So this is the best game this year? He hasn't played it completely yet. He just tried a few hours of
6 hours.
Curated experiences from the first act.
Yeah.
And it's his Game of the Year contender.
We should mention, all these guys got basically invited to an event in, where was it? San Diego, I think?
San Diego, yeah.
Yes.
EA headquarters in San Diego.
Yeah, so they got pampered, right? They put you in a nice hotel. They pay for the fucking flight, all right? This is well known. This is well-known stuff. This is not like, we're not making this up.
They also worked on theme and the environment. They played on these wooden tables, the tavern-like wooden tables.
Exactly. It's a very nice spot for the media there. So they're they're in a good vibe. And hey, I'm not discounting their experiences. It could very well be that this is a good game. Like a good action RPG game that stands by itself. Sure, I'll give it that. But from what I'm seeing, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, and I've seen many hours and read many articles about it, because guess what? I'm a fan, like most of you guys listening, of the original trilogy. I want this game, believe it or not, to actually be successful because I love old BioWare and I love their old games. But the reality is, if you look at the reality of life, and you look at the production issues this game has, and you look at how they let people go in the middle of production, and then brought some of them back, in different positions for whatever.
And wanted it to be a live service?
Exactly. Oh my god, yes. They pivoted production midway. There's too many red flags you ignore. And if you ignore all those red flags, sorry, but that is exactly the definition of toxic positivity. So let's talk about Concord.
Yeah, Concord had exactly this problem. With Concord did not show up from the fan base or the media, but in the development. You've had interviews with developers who worked on Concord who said the company was rife with toxic positivity. They couldn't, no one would say a single bad thing about it.
Sony specifically pretty much forbade people saying anything negative about the game during production.
They planned it for it to be their baby years on forward. They wanted this to be their Star Wars.
Yes, they did. And it became a 400 million bottomless pit of money that brought them nothing but agony and probably a soon-to-be-fired company that made this game.
And just because they told their workers not to say anything bad.
Yeah, that's mismanagement to its core, and I think it's happening in Dragon Age the Veilguard as well, and we're going to get into it. Right into it, in fact. Presentation and world building, okay? From what we've seen, from everything we've seen, from all the previews, we're going to use some of the articles.
Quotes from the articles.
There's a lot of them, by the way, a lot of articles. You can find all of these quotes easily in a lot of these articles. And basically, this is what we found it, that a lot of them are simply contradicting themselves, or simply just, I don't know, maybe my eyes are seeing different things than they are. They literally experience the game, 6 hours of the game, and what they're saying doesn't make sense. There's some sort of cognitive dissonance between what they're saying and what my eyes are seeing. So let's get into it.
This is a nice one. In spite of all the choices Bioware's made that I do still disagree with, the double down on action combat, the shiny and poreless character designs, the cartoonish darkspawn, I believe the Veilguard is going to be a great return to the world I've loved for 15 years. How?
Bro, this guy is 15 years, so this guy is like an old dude like us who probably played all the previous games. So he knows the previous games, he knows how greedy and dark all the previous games are. Anyone who's telling me that the previous 3 games were not greedy and dark, and also the subject matter of many of them was extremely dark, is either didn't play the games, can't remember them, or just lying to himself. Like, that's part of the appeal of Bioware games. A lot of the times they do talk about like serious subject matter in the settings of their worlds, right? Racism, stuff like racism, stuff like persecution of people, right? Just because of the race.
Yeah, betrayals, genocide, everything.
Everything, right? So it's okay to do that as long as it's part of the world and it's not forced in there. It's like literally part of the fabric of the world that they're building.
Origins had a witch that raised the child just to kill her, to perpetuate her eternal life.
I mean, bro, broodmother. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I gotta address one more thing, the cartoonish darkspawn.
Yeah.
The guy literally says this. He says that the darkspawn are cartoonish, and then he says, right immediately after that, he doubles down and says, this is the return to the great world I've loved for 15 years. Cartoonish darkspawn? I don't remember cartoonish darkspawn in the previous games, bro. So what return are we talking about? I don't get this. I don't get this vibe. I don't understand it.
He says he feels the return in spite of that.
That's bullshit. That's toxic positivity, exactly. That's exactly the... whatever. Yeah, move on to the next one. I'm sorry, I'm fucking angry.
So, they say it feels lived in and intimate in a way I haven't quite felt in a Dragon Age game before. So, previous Dragon Age titles...
Again, why are you shitting on the previous 3 games? How are you telling me... Are you really telling me that this game that looks like a mobile cartoon game, like a Fortnite clone, this game that was about to be a live service game up until 4 years ago, before they pivoted, again, by the way, the second time, you're telling me that this game made you feel like you haven't felt in any of the previous Dragon Age games? That's what you're telling me. Really? Interesting.
Lived in and intimate.
Yes.
Like, no, let's even look at this from the story point of view. I mean, even Inquisition, which is not considered to be the best of the franchise here, let's be honest, had so many moments in its story that you felt so part of this world. The character chemistry they put in there, that scene in the end where they play together in some poker game or whatever, and they're bantering, and then it's you feel like you're a part of this group that has been fighting for months now together.
I'm sure you have moments like that in this game as well, but when the game looks like it does, when the Kunari has what would you even call it? He has a literal flat earth on his fucking forehead, bro.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
What is this shit? Bro, look at the Kunari from Inquisition. Look at the Kunari from the second game. They look so much more intimidating. They look so much cooler.
Of course!
Of course!
Of course!
I just don't get it, bro. Okay, let's move to the next one, or we'll never get to the point.
Dragon Age the Veilguard is everything fans of the series have been asking for in terms of lore and story.
Bullshit.
Everything we've been asking for in terms of lore and story. Yes, we've been asking for new Kunari. People have been banging on Bioware's door. Change the Kunari!
And everything they might not have known they needed in terms of gameplay. Everything they might not have known they needed.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, we didn't know we wanted reduced party size. We didn't know we wanted not to control our companions. We didn't know we want to switch to cartoonish presentation of this gritty dark fantasy world. We wanted tactical combat removed. We wanted to change how the races looked until now. Kunari.
Wow. Not just the Kunari!
All of these things we did not know we want.
Not just the Kunari. Every race looks worse in this fucking game. Literally, everyone. They all look...
Except humans.
No, they also look too cartoonish. They all look stupid. They all look...
They don't have paws.
Yeah, and the world... Listen, the world, it's pretty. It's pretty in the... Oh, look at all the purple light. Oh, it's so nice. Bro, come on! This is Dragon Age, not Guardians of the fucking Galaxy, bro. The whole vibe of the game, it looks like it started as a live service, and then they pivoted, and because they couldn't like change everything from the scrap. They said, okay, let's go with it. What can we use as a template, like a heavy single-player, heavily narrated story game, single-player game that has RPG elements with it, light RPG elements.
Didn't that combat remind you of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Sure, let's look at Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a pretty straightforward game. It's pretty fun. It got good reviews. It was quite successful.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I did as well. It works very good for what it's doing. Yeah, sure.
And watching the combat in Veilguard really reminded me of the combat in that game.
Yeah, which is probably the worst part about that game, the combat.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, it's extremely floaty, and if you increase the difficulty, everything is like very, very like bullet spongy.
Spongy.
Exactly, and you control your friends exactly like you do in this game.
Yeah, with the dial and the orders and the combos.
Yeah, you stop the game for a moment and you give them a command to use a very specific ability, and then he uses it.
Oh, and it also tells you if you do this, you can tell the other one to do the other one. It works together.
Yeah. So this is what we said in the beginning of this video. We said this could be a good action RPG game, standalone RPG game, but it has one problem. It has Dragon Age in its name.
Remember how in Origins you could combo the effects of the mages, but it's not something the game told you to do? So you just happen to do it once, and then you see the effect and you're like, whoa, what the hell was that? Yeah, that's not better.
Everything they might not have known they needed in terms of gameplay. You think you want it, but you don't. You think you know, but you don't. It reminds me of the Blizzard condescending previous CEO of Blizzard. They were like, at some point they were starting to replace them like socks. So yeah, one of them, the one with the pigtails, he's very famous for saying that stupid condescending sentence to people asking for a very, very sought after feature.
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
So let's move on to combat. What can you tell us about that from the quotes we read?
When Bioware said that it had gotten rid of full party member combat control in Veilguard, I was miffed that they thought we couldn't handle it. But honestly, they were right. After to trying both a mage and a rogue, it really did take my full attention not to die in later boss fights.
Wow. So like every other action game.
Bro, yeah, have you ever, never loaded a game in Dragon Age? You always got the combats first try, right?
Dragon Age Origin is a legitimately hard game at the beginning when you start to learn it,
Yeah?
bro. It's like the combat is not easy
No.
in that game. You need to learn how to prioritize targets. You need to learn which ability to use at which situation. You need to combo abilities, actually combo them, not like in this bullshit iteration of it. Man. So here it's mechanically more difficult because you need to press more buttons faster, basically. You need to dodge the enemy. You need to play God of War / Guardians of the Galaxy / Suicide Squad. Nice. Sounds great.
It feels like they mashed up action game styles together, like out of context.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to shoot to a bunch of direction together. They're throwing a bunch of shit and hoping some of it sticks. Good shit, right? Not the bad shit, the good shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying some of it might not work. The music might be great, the sound might be great, some of the voice acting will probably be good. Even though I haven't seen anything from the writing that impressed me, from what the dialogue we've seen. The dialogue seems pretty basic. Nothing we haven't seen before. The choices seem very basic.
And even then, one of the criticisms that kept coming back in some of these articles was that it was too handholdy. They were actually narrating what other characters are feeling or the outcomes of situations just to make sure you didn't miss it.
Yeah. And now, the last quote, we leave the best for last. This is from the game director herself, Corinne Bush. Go ahead, brother. I love this one.
We have an incredibly diverse set of players.
Incredibly diverse.
In terms of their
Incredibly
experience. Well, this is true. It's a fact. Diverse set of players.
But it's a fact that must be mentioned at any given moment, for sure.
Yes.
Start again, I fucked it up.
Alright. We have an incredibly diverse set of players in terms of their experience, their motivations, their expectations.
Incredibly diverse.
Yes, explained Bush. We wanted to design a combat system that was high fidelity.
Oh, that's a nice word.
It felt fluid.
Oh yeah.
What does that even mean?
It means like...
And then a second later, the through line is always the pause and play, deep tactical layer.
So high fidelity, fluid combat,
pause and play.
But also pause and play, deep tactical layer. Listen, if you ever played Guardians of the Galaxy, there is nothing deep or tactical about that fucking game, and that looks exactly the same like this game. Only you don't have...
Bro, she's saying this is a fluid, fast-paced action combat. I mean, don't you remember when you played Doom, where you paused the game to look at where the monsters are?
Oh god, bro. They're contradicting themselves. This is also toxic positivity. It's like they're you know what? Fuck it. Let's move on. What we're trying to say here about all of this is that what we think is happening with the development of this game, this very troubled development that you can't deny that is troubled. You can just look it up, do your research before you blast us in the comments below, which by the way we encourage you to do. You can just go and see how many issues this development had, and that doesn't mean that it won't be a good game. It just won't be a good Dragon Age game. And if you think I'm wrong because I haven't played it yet, bro, what is the point of all these previews, all of these trailers, all of this gameplay, all of these articles, if not to give you a sense of how good the game is and if it's something you want to play or not? From everything I've seen and you've seen, and I hopefully think our viewers seen, there's too many red flags. It doesn't look like a good Dragon Age game. It looks like a mid single player action RPG game. And the toxic positivity all around all of this is ridiculous.
You summed it up pretty nicely. Toxic positivity is an issue.
Both from the media and from the fan base.
And in development culture, like happened in Concord.
Yeah.
And it's not the only one. Anywhere this thing pops up, it hurts the final product. And it ends up hurting all parties involved, both critically and financially.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying things like they are, I mean, criticism
is good.
This is constructive, yeah. The point is to try and look at Baldur's Gate 3. They had that thing in alpha for a while and they got a shit ton of criticism from their fan base.
We should also mention
that
a lot of the reason, at least the media, is kind of ignoring a lot of glaring issues and just recommending this game, is they don't want to lose their access. Their access to future events from EA. EA is a huge publisher. They publish hundreds of games every year. They don't want to lose that very, very prestigious access. And also they don't want to lose invitations paid invitations to a hotel in a nice event.
Sunny San Diego.
Yeah, in sunny San Diego, bro. And I don't blame them. It's cool, sure. It's very cool to get invited to those events, but you're kind of betraying your professional integrity as a gaming journalist when you're saying something that looks like you're just bullshitting us, basically. That's the reason they're doing it. The toxic positivity in the development, though, and in the fandom is also kind of fucking ridiculous. It's going to lead to a worse product. You get a worse product in the end of it. We're not telling you don't enjoy yourself and don't enjoy your hobbies and don't get excited for this game. If you're excited for it, I'm happy for you. I wish I was as well. What we're saying is, take everything with a grain of salt. Look at reality for what it is. Look at the production and the history of Bioware in the last decade and their success rate. And realize that there's a very good chance that this will be a very disappointing game.
And don't forget they are under EA, and let's be realistic here about EA's history with studios like this.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, let us know. Give us your 2 cents about toxic positivity. Do you think Veilguard is suffering from it, or are we totally off and we're with the toxic negativity? I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah. Do you think other upcoming titles are beset by toxic positivity? Give us your piece in the comments below. We'd love to hear it.
Yep. And by the way, if you like our shit, press the good button. If you hate our shit, press the bad button. And if you're indifferent to it, don't press any button. This is MLC Midgame Life Crisis. I'm Inconsistency.
I'm Werewolf.
See you guys next time. We're out.
Bye.